The way is to outweigh the fear with wisdom in the night. I am lost at sea. I have disappeared, designed to beat the boots and squeeze out all the lights. Listening for the sound of the high wire as I tie myself off to the fire. Here fell the very first shell, and to this day I remember well this living winded conquest of time in the age of steam, turning blood into gold and witchcraft into wine. The cauldron is gone, traded for a camera, a little twine, and something sturdy to write on. Here among the pines upon the hill, lost in a time of peace, I fire at will from a darker world of needs, a sunder coven of one in code, out with the heart and in with the old, doing only as they say, for as lonely as they please, pushed into the underground, lost in songs like these, bound this far inside the sound, the deepest hole I've ever known, falling forth and rising down. It's only the river, talking in its sleep, fed on crumbs and disbelief. I look to remember. Could it be that she remembers me? I drop my anchor, possessed of agency, ever so unstable, only so gradually, an awe at the end of its rope. This could be the story of a dream, far beyond the scope of hope. Mine is the one who left the machine, a shriveled, blackened heart of lust. This merciless cloud has covered my stars. I have flung myself to the dogs enough. I dreamt that I awoke, and I was burning my guitars, suffering the magic in the ectoplasmics. I've learned to survive in the arms of the dark. I good you bid evening. I'd rather be thinking I'm falling apart. The deadest of all the letters, ready for perfection or ruin whenever. I'm already done in the name of art, in the hall of the taller white pines, with a need to regroup and some time to unwind. These darkest hours are the hours for the action. Everything is adding up to subtraction, buried in the water alive. The secret never left the room, and whether you knew it or not, neither did I. Reaching and grabbing it everywhere, I was lit by lightning, ripping that art right out of the air. Don't even poke the barely there. With heartaches in their shoes, death and romance are equally prepared. With everything it takes, they don't leave until you lose. Don't go off half-baked. I thought you said you liked the blues. I feel so out of peace, it's like I'm nearly out of love. Locked inside the memory tower, I would give for a year just to be for an hour, freeing up the film that's in my pen, the silent fog that wakes the dead, turning ordinary stones back into men. What has ever happened to my living brush with love, whose initials lie there next to mine, gathering nothing now but dust, leaving on the morning carriage a bundle of rattled nerves, murmuring to myself as I was crossing the ridge, coveting the curve, stretching the soup of the language. There are many unknowns in the dark of her eyes. At the brink of her flower, where the mystery lies, there among the witches. We should settle before the sunrise. Running this far below, it tends to thicken the blood with cold, seeming to stem from way back when. It's a question of quality control. To future Halloweens, I'm proposing a toast to the lure of the sacred beyond the most. I am gone, done with becoming, and the horse it rode in on. Freer to soar from the floor, with stars in my scars, I barricade the door. I am done with running. It's really wearing me down, like a seed that keeps falling on barren ground. Grandsired in with a taste for the gate. How still it makes my old heart skip, the sound of her hand grabbing my hair and cracking her whip. Bring me the love that's not even there. Together with the flesh, we have left from above on a rampant search. Flecked with blood, the two of us could never be enough for tracing the longest of odds and tastes, and beckoning whither as you were, by the skin of your voice and your bodice in the breeze. The weather vane spinning cautiously, nature doesn't give you much choice, rowing in the winds of uncertainty. Eating the dark should never be taken too lightly. The vigor and the amplitude of the uncreated night, the very texture of the fable, like a steamship journey underneath the water table. In a world of bitter doubt, I'm still trying to figure my shadow out. Where's that lust I had tucked away? Like a bee on the bloom, a lostling battered on a Saturday, locked inside a dirty room. Here in the very heart of the song, I am suing myself just for singing along. Unhand me down from here. I must be happiest they never were, with nothing left preferred, I fear, but her. As a rule, old school, she and I standing revealed at the bottom of the swimming pool. And watch how all the space will be having a fit when time finally dies and love is left to bury it. The very secret of art completely emptied out. In the throes of a home on the go, a pitiful vision of the soul, turning the mind in time, just to be reasonable. Landing without permission at the scene of the crime. Lecturing in the streets of straw, left in the way and risking it all. I saddle and I rattle the cage, for of the shepherd a wolf has been made. And devotion means donation. It comes with a slew of dirty looks, way too school for cool, with an audience full of history books. That certain sexless science fiction of the wise, brought to be abandoned right between the eyes, looking for a place to put the enemy tonight, a pitch-black comedy of wasted love and dynamite. The shrunken head shop keeper of the lightning, with an endless army of willows and rhyme, greater than any fear that ever stalked the earth, is the one that always seems to stalk the mind, circling round with fire in its veins, kicking me to the curb. Hey, word to your wizard, peace is a verb, stay in your lane. I stopped for so long I lost my place, pasted into space, clearing the air of the light, timeless as a sundial that only works at night, upending all tradition with a theme made of roses, in a garden of suspicion, pushing the dissonance back together, thickening the texture. What has the sound got to do with the music's fear of being dead forever? In terms of a trick, it couldn't be any cheaper. How often I sit and stare, playing chicken with something that isn't even there. I'm racing to win myself back from hearing voices, wading through the fire of some very bad choices. The darkest things I ever heard, about the sun that never even said a word. The air around here is thick with thieves, loose and unattended as the rustle of the leaves. An intentional imitation of something imperfected, where all of the wrong notes are right. The idea of love is rejected. A wasp of a wizard without any shoes. However disconnected, you guys would kill each other with these kinds of blues. I have been too long dead with the living, running from both. never to be mistaken for me. I give myself to the lightning, defined by my isn't-ness, rogue for years, in the spirit slammer, seeking damages. Midnight doesn't matter when I'm burning down the dirt. I still can't feel my face. I wonder if it hurts. Last day of summer, left out in the cold. The cradle came from Collinwood. It's worth its weight in gold. What some are calling empowerment seems to me a little misleading. More than likely what we have here is a classic case of overeating. Nothing but the whole. The bats of the round table that no one will ever know. Living in a tomb over the cherry moon, change isn't cheap in the arms of ghosts. To see and feel the mirrors of flame, always in accord with more. As love is the noose that mumbles my name, now more than ever before, on an island of ice, as red as fire, the circle's quadrants, and the memories of the elephants, I go my way like gold. Struck by sunlight growing old, to be where I have strayed, and wasted the paper I was written on. A sun above 1,000 lamps, carried past itself and gone. In trance, once a vine, and now a thorn. So far worse than usefully, my troubles have been reborn. I have no other wear than this, as red as fire, the blood of Linus. A ghosted rider at the helm, where in front of the pane lies a bliss so deep, but what is this hate really worth if it's free? This dog and pony show of oblivion in me. I've tied myself off to the sound of a silent film. Start the brew without delay, sending away the break of day. Entwined in my confinement, longing to soar and to escape, to the school of hard liquor knocks, hanging out in my head, sleeping in the parking lot, and waking up dead. The prettiest poison I've ever seen, vital to my survival, the object of my dream when it's under attack. Wandering around at nightfall, I have come from the camper in the back, in these deplorable yesternight clothes, so special a bad luck charm, hoping to unravel like a pro, an agent of the flesh, whose memories for tomorrow are holding hands with death. In a plain old little homemade Garden of Eden, the leer of the sensualist is always in season. I am weary, and still, it's good to be ancient, even when it hurts. So move it, or lose it. That's the only way it works. The only thing you'll ever get for growing old is staying gold. A mystic of the irony, older than the driver's seat and the open road, all in the same beat. In these deplorable yesternight clothes, nothing is over yet. The ghost who gasps for love at last is something to remember, not to forget. The gold and silver of all my youth, soft and secretly slipping. It's true, eaten alive by the eye and the sky, a choice without a voice, the gist of which at a fevered pitch, in an attic full of toys. Struggle on, weary pilgrim. The edges are the way to us, luminary devourings of perfect lust. And desperately aware, if I were me, I wouldn't go in there. Too much negativity, unadulterated gloom. I've taken to working both sides of the street, from my bed, in my room, alone and bereft. I blot out the bloom, busy becoming the voice of silence. After the impossible, there's still a place for genius in the gutter, listening to the radio, the days of yore, a joke in the box, fired for going to the fore. backing up that last little yearning, the way to the way forever. As expected, all is proceeding, sinking it off, the sooner the better, becoming the blackest rose in the heather, the only place to keep me quiet. I can't deny it. Oblivion, together, you should try it. Hole up from the soul up, with a vow to endeavor, for all of these years lost betwixt the lip and a cup. There's a lot of whiskey flowing on the trail of tears. In cold blood, after the flood, the bridge is uninhabitable. From in my head to here, I always seem to get there just in time to disappear. Waylaid beneath the giving tree, so very nearly not belonging. The words are all I have with me, catching the conscience of the stars. The more we learn, the less we are. On a mission melting upward, the addled yolk of a cosmic egg. It seems like every grain of pepper is always getting in the way. The languages and the love scenes, as they say, are messing with the ratings. Next level devils, like dogs in a well, skinned by the wind. They'll never tell. Like they say, hide the facts in front and run like hell. Option a treatment of lust and justice. There's an army in the field. Don't slough yourself. Stay rungs above the moment. Walk like an accident. Learn how to pretend. Yours is a greater lonely life until then, holding down the fort with a 1/4 ounce of weed and a bottle of port. Time enough to cue it up. There's a rattle in my shadow that's looking for the door, hidden in the phenomena of disintegration. A durable skeleton of form, null and void. My own creations leave me wanting more and more. My eyes are wrong, as the road is long, and not to be unheard, my ears are almost gone. I revel still, in good fettle, for whatever the devil I'm on. It's in the order of my blood, the finest of wine, as it's turning to mud, wading through the air by the moon of the woods, walking the green screen mile, giving away all my goods. I am factory sealed, a ghost in the gravel, shaken and surreal, all the way down to my shadow, waiting for the cover of night. I like my folk in space with music in its eyes. A phantom of the just, eager to be anything in this river of love. Everybody's looking to get there first. In order to live, life is sometimes not enough. I'm always bringing up the rear and reverse, throwing down hard and coming up short. I still fight the war for my sword. It's like fishing without a lure, where doing only obscures the doer, writhing under the lash, painted into the pain, a dirt that's just too pure for a blood that's made of mud and grass and acid rain. We're in the after dark arts now, my friend. I wouldn't lay on that if I were you. You don't know where that floor has been. That's the price you pay for poverty and torture from the source. However, shielded from the piracy, bodies need to move and bodies need remorse. I've been making my unsteady way all day with the cart in front of the horse. And the very verge, a surge. It takes one to roll one, of course. From head to toe and tail, at whatever may be the price, everything we are is always for sale. So let go the woe. Strife is the economy of life. In these disastrous yesternight clothes, coughing up the truth about a miserable, misspent youth. I empty my head into the greater unknown, capable of drinking the wind in my sleep. The loneliness takes a flying leap. The velvety darkness is looking to eat the flesh of kings. The beautiful beyond, ending its sleep and spreading its wings. The faceless death of rhythm, in a bed that was made for jumping on. What's left I give to you, and thine and mine. until the music is gone. Blacker than blinded, I still have my wits. My guess is loneliness is the only shoe that fits. My canon has become my key. The muscularity of space has all but fallen away. Metaphorically, unless is best these days. My actual love for the room is what's keeping these four walls at bay. Tormented by all but the faintest, to not delude, but exude. Time is needed to isolate the cause and be the anarchist. A dazzling display of waste, sprawling and majestic. I can't stand this place. Limelights are for lemons these days, tricked out on commission. It's all about face value in the monkey house of vision. Seriously, unless you're using ignorance as invisibility again, with a knack for the facts, I'd really need to be seeing double by then, and doomed to be misunderstood for good. Sometimes the best defense doesn't even make any sense. I giggle my way right out of my eyes, and I wander on beyond my knowledge, all scruffed up on the inside. I know where the truth lies. You need an art? I know a guy. Here in the dark, it's hip to be wise. Golden in a natural state, designed by the heart. A sleepier space western as of late. Such is the world of art. No closer copy of faith could replace. It's like a simpering computer that won't get out of my face, crawling up and down my skin, a carcass of a memory bank, struggling just to remember when. The night used to lust after us back then. The doctor begins his dance right when the music ends, the barest foot canary in the coal mine ever since. The very beginning and the envy of the bane led down this windless corridor, a nameless terror crying for more, a form that's found within a dream, and mine is a mind at war. All the memory and nostalgia any fool could ever use. I'm hungry for dissonance, covered in mud. It's all I can do, always of one blood, a strideless cube afloat. The beat still pounds in the back of my throat. Sundered from our maker, we've all been done to death, widowed and alone, thinking love is all that's really left. By way of words and other signs, in the shape of a duet, gleaning in the hunger tower, the very last stone of a ruined sunset, taking its way around the road. Artificial imagination, it's what's for dinner in the heart of the hollow, far away from prying eyes, at the crossroads of goats, you in that second wind of mine, all dressed down like Billy Oates. The years have turned to months, learning to beguile. I thought I was a dreamer once, forgetting to begin and slipping out of style, with a skin so thick I'll never fit in. The scandals and the squabbles, sleeping off the frost. I am a goblin of the hollow, with his frozen fingers crossed. A ticket to the thicket, just like these, her icy cheeks. One question only begs another, looking for relief. The tongue of the invisible, bringing the news, captive to a now shape-shifting landscape. From these songs, in effect, what will the night bring to birth for me next? Home was never so much a reprieve as it was a proving ground for me. Underneath the canopy of night, it gets a little close to the nose. The soul of a scribe, blackened rapture thin, in these lonely woods where I was buried alive. A half-remembered future street theater piece, leaving my head to flow within my bones, in the shadow of the mirror, watching the smoke. I'm not your ordinary pharaoh, however far or Nero. How low the hunter lies, here is the wear of the underling. I've held my tongue for so long, I may have forgotten everything. Sadly ever after, I will listen with my lip, a truer seeker, put out to pasture, a house with no speakers. That's what we were, a couple of prophets stuck in traffic, entering the firm in the year of the worm, looking for the magic. The wood is good. Study the terms. Come and see the bard stripped bare. Better go on around that clown. He's liable to bury you there. Sing it like you say it in the first place. It should be second nature. It's written on your face. Calling all curves, you are needed at your post. They seem to think we've been talked into chasing a different ghost. Disturbingly sly, these first and forced impressions. I need a swifter piece of making haste. I want to climb the walls, wipe away the waste, calling all curves. Who put all this soup in my words? I'm at the end of my limits with this. I do my dancing in the stars. It's a different kind of ethics in the sticks. It's never miracles, it's always card tricks. Happy to be unmapped, an ape of existence stuck in a mousetrap. Real is how it feels, like words on the wing, when they're hung by the heels, aimed at the damsels of the trailer park. The kind of manic ballad that sounds better when it's falling apart. A planetarium of lies and love. I'm up to my eyes now. Enough is enough. We are the ghosts becoming the goblins. All of our solutions turned into problems. Time is needed to isolate the cause and make a little more room for my wizard-in-laws. Like catfights and lights, blessed be the curse turning for satyr. What's worse, the slime, like time, has found its tongue and it's confusing the hell out of everyone. The heart is too heavy for love. A ghost planet dripping down from above in the waves of the wind. The engines run wild. This fate that awaits us all, seen through the eyes of a child. Protection from the curiously uninvited, stung by the sting, however delighted. Let's bust a risk. No more rivers made of sand. If I can't be me, I'm going back to the sea. Live in truth. Give and give. Ape the man. The urge to write contains a refusal to live. At war with the world, so terribly amiss. We end at last. Her eyes are on the radio. My ears are on the hourglass. From the folds of the force, I drink to the past. Straight, no tracers. All the same, I have given a name to my pain. And with no cause at all to contend, I walk to the grave in the rain. Anything to please the pusher. Everything I know is changed. The May Queen goes unseen, quietly changing lanes, with a hint for the clueless, and the gloom in their eyes. Now more than ever, it's hip to be wise. The actual doorway to more, the former real folk vultures of the local record store. Numberless is the sand upon the sunshine. Essentially, it's engineering, however out of its mind. In my neck of the air, feeling as I don't belong anywhere. This is exactly what the memories are for. Amazing grapes, and nothing more. Ready for the river of time, returning to the cradle of space. Scars of a meteor, devoted to logic, to sit and watch for weakness. This is the way to war. This is the object, the sheer delight to doctor the knife with a music that makes it tick, deliciously sound, lending the supermen enough to get sick. Honored in my cage at the core of the magic, solitude is all the rage. One does best just staying away. A hill of beans in a time of dreams. A starflight purpose, how little we change, how still we resist. A world to win, and a space to build. The air is getting thin here on the hollow hill. For all the gold that is in the noble castle of limbo, swearing it's where the mystery lives, singing to the fire until the cracks begin to show. Beneath the glassy surface of the wind, meeting flint with flame, asking points both light and grave, slightly more useless than yesterday, tramping for a place to grow and stay, infectious and wise, simple and plain. Bring me the love that lives in the rain. Greetings from the man downstairs. Come on up and I'll show you my wares. Out of the frying pan and into the woods, a fish out of focus who wore his cane just as fast as he could. Unsung as it gets, I come barreling through, seeking an adventure that used to be you. A little bit of fantasy goes a longer way tonight, guarded underwater, swimming for its life. The truth comes cutting through in a borrowed suit with a butcher knife. And still, I search her face for news of my fate, the unwritten role of just the other day. We're all going out to meet in the street, so sweep off your feet and wipe off your face, scouting locations, angles and the tangles, solely yet slowly erase the darkest of wonders. It's war paint by numbers. So many lies to believe. The end of all wits, most definitely. Dying in the dust of your doorway, beneath my eyelids in an ancient cave. Knowing my heart should do this more. Grant me the wealth of poverty that wrestles nothing to the floor. The unmoved source of the actual movement, awakened from the maker's dream. Tomes of anonymity, drinking the deepest fish of the sky. The ones that really stick with me, I've never even seen. The worthier and the worse, left to penetrate the fevered realm. This lasting curse in space, torn and tied to the helm. We were young and we were loud, struck up like a piece of luck. I think of all the music we should be making right now. Come across and come along, up and out of the muck, fixed for the flight of a lifetime. I am lost in translation, framed in a pretty little program, some literary idiothood of my own creation. My biggest fears have always been the smoke in the mirrors, the glittering eyes of ancients. I love to remember, it started with a smile that even now will never surrender. Although I'm starting to think that the walrus was us, the wrong kind of magic, thrown under the right kind of bus. The need to be outweighs the need to leave these days, and suddenly we all just fade away, never to sit in silence again. The die has been cast and thrown to the wind, narrowing down to nothing in a chamber of the ages. Even the sticks and the stones have guns. In the emptiest of spaces, the stars incline, they do not bind. Saved by the grace of the grave, with eyes the size of the evening skies. Born in a barn, I was raised in a cave. At home in solid rock, giving it all away. Modern museum perfection, for having to be an art that's true. In the shadows of a has-been, at the 21st Street Mission, it's time to pay for the soup and the help that's in the kitchen, splitting the atom, sharing with Eve. Many such journeys are possible. There are so many sounds out there to be seen.